We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of the crime of murder.
Number 10, Ryan Lochte. While Michael Phelps was getting all the attention for his dominance, Ryan Lochte was right behind him, carving out his own legacy. But then the 2016 Summer Olympics happened in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Lochte, along with 3 other members of the USA swimming team, announced they had been robbed.
Police say the swimmers kicked down the door, then vandalized the bathroom inside. Then those 4 swimmers continued down here back towards their taxi, and at this point, they allegedly ripped a poster off the wall before being confronted by those security guards.
However, inconsistencies in Lochte's story soon emerged. In the end, it turned out he had lied. They'd actually gotten drunk and vandalized the bathroom at a gas station.
The first version of the story you told, Ryan, was much more about the mean streets of Rio.
Yeah.
And the version we're hearing now is much more about a negotiated settlement to cover up some dumb behavior.
And that's why I'm taking full responsibility for it.
Afterward, they were confronted to pay for the destruction. Lochte was barred from competing for 10 months, and he was dropped by sponsors, while the other athletes received a 4-month suspension. This incident, plus a doping scandal in 2018, resulted in Lochte struggling to return to his former glory.
I take full responsibility. I'm human. I made a mistake, a very big mistake, and it's something that I learned from, and I know that that will never happen again.
Number 9, Greg Hardy.
Cracking. Hogwarts.
Hardy was living the dream as a Carolina Panthers defensive end, receiving praise from all sides of the NFL for his amazing work. But during the offseason in 2014, the wheels came off his rise to stardom when he was accused of assaulting his then-girlfriend. Hardy was initially found guilty of assault, but the case was ultimately dismissed on appeal because his former partner largely went quiet. Needless to say, people were far from happy that he was still in the league following this.
Just when I begin to think the Cowboys can't possibly sink any lower, they can't fall from grace any more than they have, they find another shovel and dig a few feet deeper.
After attempting a football comeback with the Dallas Cowboys in 2015, Hardy switched sports and began an MMA career. Number 8, Johnny Manziel.
I can't hear. We can't hear you. There's too much money in my hand.
You expect someone named Johnny Football to do big things in the NFL, but this athlete's personal life and excessive amounts of partying got in the way. While he had some run-ins with the police in his college days, the quarterback was drafted by the Cleveland Browns in 2014. But Manziel's excessive behavior off the field continued. In 2015, he was pulled over for a fight in the car with his partner. While he had been drinking, the officers believed he was under the legal limit and nothing came of the incident. But subsequent dishonest behavior, combined with a domestic violence charge, led to Cleveland cutting him in 2016.
Overshadowing Manziel's brief pro career, his actions off the field. He spent 10 weeks in a drug and alcohol treatment facility after his rookie season.
Though the case was dropped in 2017 after Manziel agreed to counseling, Manziel hasn't played in an NFL game since.
But at the end of the day, it's to be seen. I'm still moving forward. I'm still doing the little meticulous things that I have to do on a daily basis to try and keep this right over anything else is what means the most to me.
Number 7, Aaron Hernandez.
When this day began, Aaron Hernandez was a New England Patriots tight end. Tonight he is the defendant in a murder case.
Being an All-American when he was in Florida, people had high expectations for Hernandez when he signed with the New England Patriots. And he was on course to be one of the best tight ends around, despite being caught in various unlawful situations over the years. But then in 2013, Hernandez was taken into custody for ending Odom Lloyd's life, resulting in the Patriots cutting ties with him.
Friends say the two men would often hang out, sometimes even talk football. But prosecutors say something went wrong, shifting their bond from cordial to fatal.
In 2015, he received a life sentence without parole. Then in 2017, Hernandez stood trial for the 2012 deaths of Daniel De Abreu and Safiro Furtado, though he was deemed innocent. However, he passed away in jail just a few days later, having taken his own life.
A sad and surprising twist in a once promising young life that went horribly awry.
Number 6, Lamar Odom.
Quick down the other end. Oh, and a block from Odom. Banks it off the backboard.
Described as a team player with a great attitude, Odom was part of the dominant LA Lakers for part of the 2000s, and became even more well-known after his marriage to Khloe Kardashian.
From this day forward, you are husband and wife.
However, substance use affected the basketball star's career, and soon it became impossible to ignore.
And all the pain go away.
In 2013, he was arrested for impaired driving. 2 years later, things reached a boiling point. He was found in a coma in Nevada with various illicit substances in his system, resulting in several heart attacks and strokes, among other things.
Authorities originally planned to airlift him, but the county sheriff's office said that at 6'10", Odom was too tall to be transported by helicopter.
While it was a long road to recovery from this near-death experience, Odom regained his health, but admitted that his drug use cut his basketball career short prematurely.
Could you even fathom what your body had been through?
No, I mean, I really still can't. All my doctors say I'm a walking miracle.
Number 5, Michael Vick. This Atlanta Falcons quarterback was making waves and looked set to have a legendary career in the NFL.
It was like having Barry Sanders back there as your quarterback. The most dynamic, athletic quarterback that there ever was.
I'm gonna give him all this, baby. I'm gonna give him all that.
That changed drastically in 2007 when a disturbing story emerged. One of his properties in Virginia was found to have hosted dogfighting. He and some others had been leading this ring and engaging in animal mistreatment since back in 2001.
Collective picture was a very bad one. There were tremendous concerns on my part about the severity of the crime, the effect on the animals, as well as the attitude of the individuals involved in this operation.
One NFL suspension and a guilty plea later, he began serving jail time.
First, I want to apologize for all the things that I've done and that I've allowed to happen. So I will redeem myself. I have to. Thank you.
Upon release, he began playing for the Philadelphia Eagles in 2009, but his reputation never really recovered from the horrific scandal. Number 4, Ray Rice. After signing a hefty 5-year contract and winning the Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens, life was pretty good for this running back. Well, at least that's what it looked like on the surface. In 2014, he and his partner Janae Palmer were visiting New Jersey's Revel Casino. The two got into an intense dispute which culminated in him assaulting her, much of which was caught on tape.
Her pain is my pain is her pain. But one thing that I wanted to do today was, apologize to my wife, who I've known since high school.
But since the athlete took part in a pretrial intervention program, the case was ultimately thrown out.
Rice had been penalized already. He was charged with assault back when it happened, but avoided jail time by striking a deal. And the NFL initially suspended him for 2 games.
When he was later suspended indefinitely and released by his team, the NFL star sued the Ravens for back pay.
By early afternoon, the Ravens had terminated Rice's contract. The NFL suspending him indefinitely. The question for many tonight, what took so long?
The case was settled out of court in 2015, and Rice hasn't played in pro football since.
I went fully forward with it. I never complained or I never did anything like that. I took full responsibility for everything that I did.
Number 3, Tonya Harding. She was the first American woman to nail a triple axel in a professional ice skating competition.
Good girl! Oh, isn't that great?
Yet Harding's career took an infamous nosedive in 1994. Nancy Kerrigan, a competitor of hers, was violently struck on the knees and left injured.
Why?
It was subsequently revealed that Harding's ex, Jeff Gillooly, and her bodyguard, Sean Eckert, had planned the affair, getting 2 men to carry out their plan. Still, Harding, who maintained her innocence, was controversially added to the USA team for the 1994 Winter Olympics, alongside Kerrigan. Later on, Harding admitted to obstructing justice. In addition to receiving probation time and a substantial fine, she was permanently barred from practicing her sport competitively by the U.S. Figure Skating Association.
I mean, she's moved on. I've moved on. It's part of history that will always be with us. But I'm also noted as the one and only American woman that did the first triple axel.
Number 2, Oscar Pistorius. There was a time when Pistorius was among the most famous Paralympic sprinters around.
A disabled person running with able-bodied athletes on the biggest stage in the world, incredible.
Oscar is really big in global terms.
Superstar Oscar Pistorius!
All that changed after he attacked who he thought was a criminal in his house. The victim was actually his partner, Reva Stankamp.
He's effectively admitting he shot an innocent person. That puts you in a tough spot legally. So I've got to believe that his best hope is for a lesser charge rather than an all-out not guilty verdict.
The South African sprinter was set to spend 5 years in jail as a result. The original conviction was then overturned in favor of a more serious charge.
The accused has punished himself and will punish himself for the rest of his life far more than any court of law can punish him.
Though his prison term this time around was a year longer, prosecutors still didn't believe that was enough and appealed once more. They were successful in 2017 as Pistorius' sentence was more than doubled to 13 years and 5 months.
And Pistorius has now got the minimum sentence for murder.
Number 1. O.J. Simpson. The world watched as Simpson ran away from the police in a Ford Bronco and was then acquitted of the slaying of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman in 1994.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187.
Yet in 1997, he found himself losing a civil case and was deemed responsible for their passing, with the combined penalty being $33.5 million. His acting and broadcasting career were effectively over at this point. And after all that, you might expect him to keep a low profile, but he didn't.
Yes, Your Honor, I stand before you today sorry, somewhat confused. I feel apologetic to the people of the state of Nevada.
In 2008, he was in court for his role in a Las Vegas robbery and was handed a 33-year prison sentence, being granted parole in 2017. He's been free since 2021, though his name remains synonymous with scandal.
And now state officials in Nevada have granted Simpson a discharge from his parole 2 months early, citing good behavior. His lawyer saying Mr. Simpson is a completely free man now, but not disclosing OJ's future plans.